All right, I'm playing some T4 with my teammate. So we can go out here and actually try some of these holes out and bring out some big stuff. See what we get going. It's always fun to play with your teammates because you can bring out big balls and you can try certain shots and like I don't play this hole very often and just one-on-one play. And so whenever I play it, I always play it exactly the same way. I always play it exactly the same way. And it's going to be very difficult to do this with that headwind. So I like my white ring just slightly over into the sand. I'm going to do 4.5 topspin just because I'm trying to fight that headwind. And I don't know if I probably would have to switch to a Titan because I think that headwind's going to lay me down and I'm going to end up short. Nice. That'll work. Oh, no, that'll work. Wrong one there, Darren. Sorry about that. I was being a D-bag. So the real way to play this hole, there's 3 ways that you can play this hole. You can try that max overpower hook. You can try and get over. You can come out here and do a max curl shot and try and get over. And with the extra mile 9 now, with the extra curl that it has, it might be a viable shot to try and get over. You can lay up back here in the back, or you can try and go full forward, like Darren's going. The deal there is if you end up in this area and you bleed off into the rough or the sand, you're definitely going to need a backspin club because this cup is so close to the edge over here that you really are going to have backspin. I don't like the fact that that ball guy was appearing and disappearing. Oh. I can't believe that went in. And it went in because the wind didn't play a factor from where I was and I hedged my bets. So if wind, I know. The deal is if wind wasn't a factor there, a perfect and a great to the right would have went in. If wind was a factor, only a perfect would have went in. I was trying to give myself the best of both worlds. I was trying to hedge my bets. And it's a risk when you do stuff like that because sometimes you're close enough up where wind is just barely a factor. And if you're aiming right at the flagpole or you make that slight little wind adjustment that you could hit a great to the left or the right and a perfect and it would go in. But if you hedge your bets and it's like, okay, I'm not sure if wind's a factor and you move it off like that, then you're taking one side or the other out. And so sometimes you'll hit it on that side that you took out. And I'm compelled on that hole to play it that way every time I come to it because I want to remember that shot. Because the first time I did that shot, the next time I was in a tournament, I couldn't remember, and then it took me a while to go, dang, you were using a katana on that and not a Titan, because a Titan is too much ball. So we have a serious look here on this hole. And one of the things that's different on this hole than in the past, I've always played this with extra mile. And what's different now is this rock, because we have the opportunity with the rock to get up into that hole. And with the extra mile, it's about 1.5 topspin. But with this rock, I can put a little teeny bit more on it, and we'll see if 3 is right, because what we don't want to do is bleed off. We want to put ourselves right in minimum short iron range, and it's 10% plus 10% to the cup. Hitting it perfect. And that 3 topspin's perfect, because I would not want to get any closer, because you can see there's a little hump right here, and the closer it gets to the rough, the more it's slightly downhill. And so I'm not a big fan of like, hey, let's see if we can get every inch. It's more important that you're in the fairway there than it is that you pick up an extra yard or two. That yard or two is not going to do you any good if you end up in the rough. And you're close enough there with your rough iron that it is a super makeable shot. But why give yourself a faster needle speed if you don't have to? But with an extra mile and a kingmaker, it's about 1.5 topspin is about all you want to put on that sucker. But I like the ball guide better on that rock. You can move it around a little bit more. So I should be pretty close to min club right here. I'm going to add on 10%, so that's going to be 4.6. One backspin on it. Get right up on that hole. Okay, it's 1.46. It's 2.4 per ring, so there's 4.8. I'm gonna do right at a 2-ring pool. Ah! If you hit that shot perfect into the cup, that shot's going in the hole. I came out on this hole and so let me tell you some things that I learned about this hole. I came out here with a power 4 ball and an extra mile. And using an extra mile 9, I put on all the topspin and did the stuff. And I ended up here. I took the shot 3 times. And once I was here, once I was in the rough, and once I was in the sand. And it's hard to bring it around the bend to get it more towards the green with the 4 power ball. So I thought, okay, we'll do that same shot with an Apocalypse and we'll just put on all that curl. But they've added some trees up by the tee box on the right-hand side of the tee box. And as soon as I released, bam, it hit the tree. So you can't do a big curl shot there because they've added some trees over there. And I don't think those trees were there originally. I think they've added those trees. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice shot, buddy. In the hole. And so you can bring a 5 power ball here with an extra mile and it'll help a little, but it's still the curl to try and bring it around. That's the problem. And I really think as far as like percentage wise, you're going to net more eagles going at it the way that me and Darren were going at it than you will trying to get up there. Because if you get up there, you got a great shot. But if you don't get up there, you're going to be in something. You're going to be in the rough, or you're going to be in the sand. Or if you over curl, you're going to be way back because you clipped the tree. There's another hole I love. I'm going to put a little bit of overpower on. I want to be right out in that area right there. So I'm going to take the wind out. It's 2.1 per ring, but I'm going to pull a ring so I can take the side wind out. I'm going to put max curl, and then I'm going to put some overpower on it. Hitting it perfect. And I'm trying to get up. There's a lamp post. There's a shadow that's created from the lamp post, and I'm trying to get right out there by that. Right there. I'm actually a little deeper than I'd like to be. I'd like to be in between the second and the third shadow up towards the top where that lamppost shadow is coming out. And what that'll do is that'll give me a minimum guardian shot. So right now I'm kind of mid guardian. And so mid guardian is about 1.5 per ring. Let's see here. 1.2 times 1.25. Oh, that's not right math. Times 1.25. 1.5 per ring. I think there might be a slight wind adjustment here, but I'm not going to do anything because I can't remember and I don't want to mess it up. I'm just going to do a normal, as far as like normal pull, but I'm going to do 1.5 per ring, which is mid club. The thing about hitting down here low, there's max. So right there is mid. So I'm pretty close to mid. Dial that sucker right up to the hole. And it tails off. See how it's drifting there at the very end? So I find you need to be just a little teeny bit high, 3.5. So there's 3. So it's a ring and it's 2 1/3 rings. Try and hit it perfect. Oh, damn it. And if you're going to hit it great one way or the other and it go in, it's that side right there. But hitting it great to the left, great to the right is not good. And my landing spot wasn't very good either. I needed to be forward a little bit. Next time this is in a tournament, I'll walk through, because look at see this little ridge right down here on the fairway that's up by the green. See how this little ridge right here? You want to be in this pocket right here so that when you hit, it hits flat and it makes a flat jump forward. If you're over here on this little hill face, the first bounce that you get will be very high in the air and it throws the whole trajectory off. So you want to be in the flat right here. And if you hit in the spot that I normally like to hit to, you just barely have a window over there. And so you can push up against that red line and you're on that flat area and it's max wind adjustment as opposed to mid. I like this hole. A lot of people do not like this hole as an Albie hole. A lot of people have problems getting eagles here, but this is a great par 5 to work on your Albie shot, because most people that come here are not going to get Albie, and a huge percentage aren't even going to get eagle. That'll work. As long as Darren's better at putting than I am, that'll work fine. I suck at putting. I suck at taking those long putts, and it's not that they're hard. I'm just not. I have no idea why. You would think that I would be like, if you would think that I would be better at putting, but I'm not. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The whole deal is I learned very early on in this game, when you're with lower developed clubs and you don't have any ball guide. Uh-oh. There you go. That you have 2 choices. You can get good at long putts or you can get good at getting closer, and I got better at getting closer. So I didn't have to take these long putts. Because I am not the best putter in the game. Darren's probably going to be pissed at me. It's like, you're taking all my coins, dude. This hole right here, I'm going to have to shoot it with this bag right here. And this is obviously a better hole to come to with a bigger ball. It's 2 per ring, so there's 2, 4, 5. It's like 2.1, so there's 5, 3. Put some curl on it to bring it back. Hitting it perfect. With an extra mile, you do not want to come in here with any more than about, and I'm going to be in the sand. You don't want to come in here with any more than about 2.5 topspin max. But with that big topper, it hits farther back, and it's probably more towards the 4 topspin, and you can stick it over there. I was trying to get greedy. There is a max overpower hook shot that you can do here, and more than likely you'll end up in the rough in front of this sand. You'll end up over here in the rough. And if you've got a Nirvana in your bag, this hole is super hard. It's one shot at a time, and the drive is hard enough. And then the second shot, when you're back here at distance, is also very hard. But if you're up there and you've got an Iran and you're bagging a big ball, and it'll take a big ball to do the max overpower hook shot, you can actually get on in two super easy by going into the rough. There's not very many holes that it's like, hey, hitting into the rough is not a bad deal. And this, if you do that max overpower hook shot here and you're in the rough, it's not a bad deal. Ending up in the sand. Sand. We're both in the sand. We're both. I feel you, buddy. I feel you. Let's see, can we get over from here? Is it even possible? There'd be two. Maybe. Maybe. Have to use that wind to get me over. It's about a ring. A little over a ring. I'm going to leave it right there and see if I can bridge the gap. Nah, I'm not going to be able to bridge the gap with that little amount of curl. I'll hit a one ring grate to the left and see if that'll help swing it over just to get up there on that. Any extra distance you can get's extra distance, as long as you don't have to do some overpower shot with your wedge or your rough iron or your sand wedge. It's never a good idea unless you're doing a hook shot with them, because it's easy to hit the spot with a hook shot. It's a lot easier to hit the all the way over to the left or all the way over to the right than it is to try and hit perfect when you're doing max overpower. The key here is to just make sure you're in the fairway so that you can move your ball in a forward direction. But being in the sand on the drive is no bueno. No bueno. Nice shot. Nice shot. The smart move when you end up in the sand or the rough is to get yourself back into play. Get yourself back in the fairway. This is the thing about coming at this hole is that this angle that you have to come at it from over here, you really want a ball that's got some side spin so that you don't have to curl it. Because you can't, the more you move it this way, it still wants to stay. So I'm just going to put myself out here. How much distance do I have? I got plenty of room here. Let's get up on the green. Let's stick that sucker. It's about a ring and 3/4. And hit it on the inside, trying to rush it. I had it almost right. If I'd have hit that perfect, it still would have missed, but I had it almost right. I like that Grim Reaper. When that Grim Reaper gets to level 6, I never thought that I would ever have a Grim Reaper in my bag. We played a tournament here a while back, and I can't remember which hole it was, but you really want a long iron that has 100% backspin. You wanted all your clubs to be as close to 100% backspin as possible. And the Sniper or the Saturn, even when it's maxed out, doesn't quite have enough backspin. Even though it's got a lot, it doesn't have quite enough. And so I was going through my bag. I did the walkthrough and was talking about that you really don't want to be in your long iron range, because your long iron would be the weakest spot to be in because of the backspin. And I went through my clubs, and they did the buffs on some of the clubs, and I noticed that at level 6, that Grim Reaper got 100% backspin. At level 6, it has 100% backspin. It's more accurate, and it has pretty much the same ball guide as a Saturn. And was like, sweet. Let's see if we can work on my dunk achievement. They've made those dunks a little harder, because you used to be able to hit down here. You could hit up about 2 inches on that flagpole and you'd still end up in the cup. And now you hit about 2 inches up on that flagpole. It's almost better to come in there on the left or the right so that it'll just smack into the hole. But if that had hit the flagpole, that might have missed. I was dinking around in the opening round in a tournament not too long ago, and I did a dunk. I was really close to the hole, and I hit the flagpole on the dunk, and it missed. Was not happy. So playing Hank the other day, there was a couple of these holes. He showed me some new, some different ways to come at them as far as rough bumps, and this is one of the holes. That rough bump that's right there. I'd never really played that rough bump before. And then there was a couple of the holes for the max overpower hook shot that I was able to show him, the one with the big topper, where we can turn that hole from a just get eagle and go home to a potential Albie hole. See if you can get it done with a Horizon. I like the Horizon. I'd forgotten all about it. But in my lower level account, it's definitely, there's times when the Horizon is good because of the topspin that it has. Very nice. Nice shot. If I remember correctly, this takes... I'm in with my big dog, so this is the worst of all worlds. It's about mid-club. If I remember correctly, it was slightly over 3. And I'm at mid-club, so I'm going to do just a titch over 2 rings. I definitely need to hit this perfect. Hitting 1 ring great to the right. And if I was going to hit that 1 ring great to one side or the other and still make it, it's 1 ring great to the right. Obviously, coming there with your big dog is not the club that you'd like to take that shot with. But I think in tournament play, that's never been one of those big holes that I have had a lot of success on. But I will. I'm going to definitely work that rough bump. There's another one of the par 3s in that same Park to. I think that was a Park to Prairie that I really don't like. That Hank showed me a rough bump on that one, and I may try that rough bump. It's a super dangerous rough bump. Not going to be able to get over there with a Marlin. Four, 5. 4, 5. Just, I'm going to lean a little to the right. Hitting it perfect. Try and get, and that there's a spot out there you can hit and it scoots. And I'm in the worst spot. For the way that I like to play this hole in tournaments is coming out there, using an extra mile so that you can get to the other side with a bigger ball. And there's a spot, I want to be to the right. And when we come into the green, I want to be out here in front of the shadow on the right-hand side. It's so easy to end up in the sand here, to bleed off in the sand, but I want to be more out in that direction. And I'll show you why when we get up to the green. The green's got a hill on either side, and there's a funnel that goes through it. And I want to be right in line with that funnel, because typically when you come in at this hole, you're going to have to hit it like I'm hitting it. And I'm on that hill face, and what it does is it wants to take an initial bump to the right. So it takes an irregular bounce the second it hits it, and it forces everything on this hole to the right. You can see where the little mound is right here on the green, and then there's the backboard over here. And right down the center right here, you can see where this spot is right here. you draw the line out here, this is like you want to be in trajectory with that so that when you're coming in, you're going right through that funnel. So you don't have to engage this little hill. Where am I at in my club? Okay, there's min. I'm about mid. Do 1.9 per ring. And it wants to take that irregular jump to the right. So I'm going to start off over here on the left. It's 1.9. I'm going to add on 10%. So that's 4.7. There's 4.38. It's about 2.5 rings. Somewhere in that neighborhood. Hitting it perfect. Dropping in the hole. I find that your chances of getting eagle on this hole are a lot better if you can hit it. There's a spot out there right along that trajectory. So if you draw it out from the tip of this shadow right here, like right out in this area, you know, being out here in the front right here is not nearly as good as being right back here because you're on line with that trough. And so when you hit it in there, it tends to want to, number one, the bounces tend to be consistent. And if you have your speed right, it'll funnel a little to the cup. But it's really difficult to come at it when you're engaging this hill because it just wants to take an irregular bounce. I was high enough on the hill, it seemed like I didn't get the little irregularness that it normally gets. But if you're on that hill face, man, it really wants to jump to the right. You can see where that trough is at right here. That's one of those things about some of these holes that, you know, people go, yeah, just hit it out into this area right here and you're good. But if you hit it out to that area and you were 5 yards further to the right or 5 yards further forward or 5 yards to the left, it changes your angle coming in. And that change in angle can be huge because you get on that hole one time and you're like, man, that was awesome. And then you get on there next time and you're like, I did the same thing and it didn't work out. And it's like, look at your landing spots. I know a lot of people don't look at the rookie stuff and they don't be critical like that. They're like, yeah, just put it out there and you just take the shot and it's all good to go. But it doesn't always work out that way. Let's see if I can get over there with that wind. Man, is that any kind of forward moving wind at all? It will push me forward just a little. I'm going to try it. Two and a half topspin. Hitting it perfect. Let's see if there was enough wind to carry me over to that little fairway. Not quite. Just a little short. I want to practice that shot every single time I come to this hole if there's even a chance that I got enough wind to get me over, because I'm working on how much topspin I need to put on. The last time this was in a tournament, so traditionally out here I hit over here and I come out this way, and I was not getting the results that I'm in the right spot every stinking time, and I wasn't getting the results that I want because you're hitting it kind of side hill and it wants to break to the right. And so I don't really like the shot that you hit straight forward where you're going underneath the trees. I know there's a really good shot right there going in, but I really don't like that shot. If I'm going to change that up, I was like, hey, let's just try and get on in one. And this shot here puts you behind those trees. And so now you've got a super difficult shot to get in there. And so I was like, let's see if we can get on a one. And so I took the shot twice in practice. We were coming up on the weekend round, and I took it twice in practice, and I ended up right out here in front of the green, and it was perfect. It's like, yeah, that's the shot. And I got in the weekend round, and I ended up on the top of this green, up here in this area here, and you can't make that putt. You can't make that putt. The deal is it's super hard to get the ball guide to go to the cup, and then in order to get the ball guide to go to the cup, you're about a mile long. And I went through there both times and went right over the top of the cup, and I was going too fast, and there was no way in hell it was going to go in. And so the deal is you do not want to be on the green, and you don't even want to be. Yesterday I played this with Dunner, and I ended up off over here on the right hand side, off on the fringe, and hell, it was a it was a super tough chip, because it's one of those chips that you're coming out like this, and you're having to bring it at such an angle in order to get it so that it's going towards the hole. And once again, by the time I got there, so I had to put on a bunch of backspin and get really close to the cup, so that I wasn't doing any topspin ball guide thing, and I was able to get it in. But where you really want to be, it's just right out here in front, so you have a nice flat chip coming up at it. And it's really all, and I really think the deal is, when I was playing it in the tournament, I brought a 5-power ball, so I didn't have to do any overpower. And go back and rewind, you can look at the overview. And what I want to do is actually first bounce in the spot I was trying to get to, and then second bounce, do a second bounce rough bump and bleed out right in front of the green. This is one of those holes that I'm willing to take the risk. When we talk risk versus reward, I'm willing to take the risk to try and earn that reward. This hole sucks. Look, like I can't even get it. That right there is exactly what I'm talking about on the other putt. And I'm close and was having a hard time getting it to go to the cup and not be through it. It's brutal. Go back and go in the Golf Clash notebook and find out what tournament this hole was in the very last time, and whatever that tournament was, and then go into my playlist and pull up that for the weekend round and see I missed that putt twice. Brutal. And I was pissed because I switched up my shot so that I could try and increase my odds of getting eagle, and I was on in one on a par 4 and missed the putt twice. And I made a change on the back so that I would not end up on the green, and I still ended up on the green. I used to play this from over here, but I quit doing that. I like to play this from the center, and I like to be right where that shadow's at. So my ball guide's like right there where that shadow is, and it's about 3 backspin. You can move it around so that you're getting right up on the hole. It's kind of like where I started. Hey, get over here. Give me crap. 1 per ring. I'm going to do 20%, so that's 4. Oh man, great to the right. Great to the right. Like 2 rings great to the right. Get in the hole, Darren. Get in the hole. You see a lot of people play this hole and they shoot it from over here where Darren's at, and they'll get right up against that rough because it kind of straightens it out. This is one of the reasons I like to bring a bigger side spin ball. I think I play this in tournaments with a katana, so that you've got all that side spin, so that you can be more towards the middle. And Darren's good because he's 2 rings off the transitional surface, but I see a lot of people play this where they're just like barely off the transitional surface, which is great if you hit it perfect or great to the left, but it's not so good when you hit it great to the right. If you hit perfect every single time you swing, then yeah, go ahead and take that shot. But if you don't hit perfect like the rest of us, every single time you take that shot, then and you don't want to, if he'd have been just a little shorter than that, it would have rolled off the front. This green, and if you're a little bit long, it'll roll off the back. How much time we got on this video? 34. We got plenty of time. Plenty of time. Glen Monarch Estates, hole 6, par 5. Which hole is this? Is this the hole? One of these holes we're looking for. This is the one right here. Yes, and we got a little bit of a headwind. Definitely will be bringing out my number 4 bag here. There you go. That's the bag, buddy. Bring out a bigger ball. Come on. You're all right. We're going to tighten. Let's try it. There you go. And this is a one shot at a time. And you really got to practice this and be able to use that wind. Perfect. That might be really good. Come on. Get over to the other side and just barely clip it. Just barely clip it. There you go. Oh, that's still perfect. Nice shot. Nice shot. See, it's going to push me forward 1 ring. Do 4. And I hit it 70 rings great to the right. See if it gets over. No, that's too far. Too far. Slow. Stop. That is absolutely as far as you could make it in there. And it is a scary shot. So if you clip the rough where he's at, you're still good. You're still good. Now, this is the traditional way that you would go at this, and you would put on all of the topspin, as much topspin as you possibly could. And I would want to bring that out farther to the left if you're going to do a normal shot here so that you can put on all of the curl. Let's see if he does the max overpower hook shot. And I don't think you brought it out far enough. You need to take it. I think it's going to overhook it, and it's going to end up in that sand. You need to go start off with the. That's okay. That's all right. It's okay. It's okay, Darren. This is why we're out here practicing. So you want to start at that ball marker. So you can see the ball marker that's right there. You want to start at that ball marker. And it takes about 3.5, let's say 3 3/4 topspin. I think I need to be over about 1.5 rings. I'm going to take the wind out. And I've been taking this shot. I've taken this shot about 6 or 7 times this week, but every time it's been with my Guardian. And so the setup on the Guardian's a little bit different. And anywhere up there is good. So I actually could have came in from where I was at. I went out, 1 ring, 1.5 rings. I could have been, I went 1 ring and 1.5 rings to the left. I could have been probably 3/4 of a ring off to the left, and it would have picked up that extra so that I would have bled onto the green. But anywhere that you can get up there like that, you've got a nice short little chip in. But ideally, we want to work it on. There's a fine line between working it so that it gets on and you're in the spot where it'll over curl. And you'll either clip the rough down there by the sand where Darren's at, or you'll end up in that sand. And so there's a real fine line there. And it's better to be off the green and taking the chip in than it is to end up in that rougher sand. And this side where I'm at over here is not the easiest side in the world to make a chip in, because you can see this green has a backboard on it. And so there's going to be a little bit of movement to the ball. I'll just chip it there and let Darren make his putt, and then we'll force the issue. We'll act like it was eagle, so we can go to a shootout. We want to get these shootout holes that we're looking for. Get in the hole. Now the pressure will be on me. Now I have to make the shot. talking smack, and then you got to back it up. All right, just need to hit it perfect. Ideally. And hit it great to the left. If I was going to hit it great on one side or the other and it's still going to be great to the left, because as it goes down the hill, it's drifting to the right. Good game. So either way, with the shot where Darren was at, where he clipped the rough and he bled out there about halfway through that fairway pad, or if you can get over and you can go forward, and I'll tell you, it's scary as hell going forward. And it carries, I put that 4 topspin on there, and really, it's really 3.5, because it carries a little bit farther in that hole if you've got tailwind, and 3.5 works. Okay, it's 1-1. I'm gonna add on. I'm gonna do a 1-2. Ah. I've been a little short. Definitely, this is the hole right here. This is absolutely not one of my favorite par 3s. And there is a great hole-in-one shot from the other side. But this is one of those holes that if you screw up in your setup over here, or if you overshoot from this direction, you're going to end up in the sand. Once it starts rolling over the edge, you're in the sand. There's no I got stuck on the fairway between the sand and the fringe. That ain't going to happen. If you exceed the fringe around on the backside of this and it touches that fairway area, you're going into the sand. If you come at it from this direction and you try backspin, it's so easy to end up in the sand. And I think I'm going to use that rough bump right there as my shot, because if I think of par 3s that I've epic failed in tournaments, this one right here is not my favorite. It's not my favorite. I have hit several pars on this, and if you watch my stuff on a regular basis, you know I cannot stand getting a par on a par 3. That is freaking bad. Awesome shot. Nice shot, buddy. Nice shot. Crowd goes wild. I think we can get at least one more hole on this. Glen Monarch Estates, hole 1, par 4. Let's see which way the wind's blowing. If the wind's blowing the right way, I'll show the shot. And we do have some good wind here. And there is no way I'm going to be able to get up there with a 3 power ball. Let's switch that to a 4 power ball. I can barely get over there with that 4 power ball. We'll try it. Hitting it perfect. So I can catch that area, and if that was enough topspin. I think that's about how much topspin I used before. Trying to get up on in that area right there and do that chip. So if we have any kind of forward moving wind where you can catch that spot, that is like I like the shot from out here with the minus 10%, trying to take it into the hole with your short iron. You're a minimum short iron, 100% accurate at minimum club. And you can take a little bit of the wind off if you bring a Kingmaker, so you've already got lower wind, or if you've got a low wind 3 Powerball, you can easily get up there. You could probably bring like a Power 2 ball with low wind and still get up in the good area. And so I like the shot coming straight forward. But if you can get up there and get on the green or in that area right there and one, the only problem is that you're introducing a variable, and that variable is max overpower. And so if you brought a 5 Powerball there, I don't know that I did this with a 5 Powerball, and I don't think I had to do. I still think I did. I still think I did max overpower, but I'm not. I can't remember. But would you rather take a chip with your rapier or a chip with your short iron? I'll take the chip with the rapier. So that is a viable shot. That's an alternative to going straight forward. And the straightforward shot is a high percentage shot. I mean, you have serious looks at it, and you don't have to do any overpower, and you can end up, anywhere you're in this line right here, you're going to be in your minimum club. Get in the hole, Darren. I'm rooting for you, buddy. Darren's like, if I wanted to go get beat up, it's fun to play with your teammates, because you can come out here and you can really play some of these holes, and you can look at them a little more seriously than when you're playing. Because when one-on-one, I just play with the Marlin. Just go out there and play fairway to green, and I don't really care if I get in the hole. If I sink that eagle, then I sink that eagle. But it's not the on a hole like this though. You're always trying to go for that eagle, no matter what ball you have. But a lot of these holes, I find that if you just play fairway to green, you're going to beat the majority of the people just out on the course. And so you don't really have to bring out bigger stuff. But where are we at? 47. We got one more. We can have one more on this video, I think. One more, and we got Parc de Paris. We're ending up with Parc de Paris. And I've been working the shot. I've been working the shot on the. I want to have. It's really important to have multiple shots in your bag. Like there's 4 ways that you can get on the green there. If you, depending on what ball you have, there's a rough bump that you can do underneath the trees, which is not my cup of tea, because you are if you hit it perfect, you're going to get a great result. If you don't hit it perfect, you're in big trouble, because there's sand immediately to your left or your right, and there's trees immediately to your left. And the other way you can do it is you can bounce it over this fairway island and get over there, or you can backspin, side spin, curl it, or you can come in from the left-hand side and swing it around. So it just depends on how you want to come at it. Let's see if I've got a Guardian in one of these bags. And with the shot that I want to hit it to the left, so I don't want to be as far out there. I want to be right in front of that shadow, right past the shadow, about where Darren's at. I'm going to add 10%, so I'm going to do I'm going to do a half a ring. If you want to go, and you definitely don't want to hit greats to the right here, there's a good chance it's going to end up in the sand. It's going to end up in the sand. The deal here is on this one is if you're trying to come at the green from the left-hand side, you want to get as far out there as you can possibly get. You want to get out here on the tip, because it opens up the right more. If you're trying to take the shot from the left and you hit it way out there to the tip, you're actually making the angle harder. You have to go around it. If you short shoot it, kind of like, or lay it up kind of like where Darren's at, you've got a much better shot if you're coming at it from the right. I see a lot of people play the game, and it's like they brought the clubs to do the shot from the right, but they overdrove, and they actually drove. It's not that you can't still do the shot to the right, but they made that shot a lot tougher on themselves because they actually overdrove it. Sometimes you're not trying to get everything you can out of that club. It's like in real golf. There's some clubs in real golf I hit better than others. And so like I can look out there and go, hey, I can't get on the green from where we're at. But from 150, I'm really comfortable with that club at 150. So the whole deal is let's get the 150 marker. Just going to lay it up right there. Because I brought the club to make this shot instead of trying to do some hero shot and end up in the rough over there. I could make it from the rough over there, but it's always best to hit from the fairway. Darren's going to sink the shot and put tons of pressure on me, which is probably good because we're getting right to that point where I don't know if I have enough time to do a shootout. And this will break a little bit to the left. So starting off a little bit on the right-hand side of that flagpole is a good deal. And this is one of those holes where you could hit it great to the right and it'll still go in the hole. Great to the left might be problematic. That's all because of the break on that hole. I don't know if this Marlin's got enough to get me over. It does. So this is traditionally how I play this hole because I don't think of this hole as being a big Albie hole. I'm going to gauge my curl there and make sure I've got it's 1.2 per ring, so that leaves me 4. That's a third. So I'm going to do 1 1/3 rings. Right back to the red line. Max curl. Hitting it perfect. And that should be close, but it never goes in. I'm usually never, if I do that shot on the right-hand side there, I'm never really any farther away than that, using that backspin, side spin curl shot. And the right-hand side, unless you're doing the rough bump, or you brought a 3 side spin ball, is very difficult. If you bring a 3 side spin ball, you bring a kingmaker, your distance, you pound that drive out there as far as you can get it up in that so that you can help yourself out as far as angles. You can bring it around those trees and kind of go for it. Hank was doing the shot where it's in between. If you look up underneath those trees, there's the sand trap on the right and then there's a tree on the left. And he was doing the rough bump from that spot. And I tried the rough bump from the other side. And you definitely need a 3 sides. We'll see if my ball guide's lying just a little. I think it is. 3.8, and I'm going to add on 10%, so that's going to be 4.1, and I'm at minimum club. 1.7, there's 3.4. I'm going to do about that right there. I'm running out of time, so I'll have to snap it. Hitting it perfect. See if the ball guy was lying. And the ball guy was not lying. Sometimes when you come at these, like if you bring a sniper here, you've got such good ball guide, it's 4 something that you can trust that where your ball guide, the hole may have a little bit of drop, like it may be a little downhill when it gets towards the hole, and it may bleed out a little longer than you want, and you can adjust for that. But when you come with a club that doesn't have into the 4 ball guides, and you run that that ball guide all the way to the hole, you'll find yourself long. So the ball guide was not lying there. You can see when he was making that adjustment on this, if you hit to the right, it's going to go to the left. If you hit to the left, it's going to go to the right. You want to be right down through that funnel. If you catch that funnel right, you can be off a little and it end up right at the hole. Nice shot. Nice shot. All right, I will end the video right there. And that was a little bit of Tour 4, just prepping up for the 2020 St. Patrick's Day tournament. Thanks for watching.